Guys, yesterday I had to hop off because we hit so many right correction or so many right predictions, blah blah blah. We called the price, bottom, top, whatever. We called everything. Like the fact that this channel only has 100 subs and we called like the top, the bottom on ETH, Bitcoin, multiple different coins. I told you guys that what was it? Uniswap was underrated and then it pumped like 20%. I told you guys we were gonna start buying Cardano. Blah blah blah. I don't. It would take way too long. You can go look at all those videos. Everything we did, we called perfectly. So you guys know that I had such a headache yesterday because we were just my head was filled with dopamine. We won way way like I don't want to say too much, but we won a bunch. And you guys know that I'm trying to get better at I told you so's. I don't mean to say I told you guys so. So I'm getting better about that. And then a lot of guys are coming at the space. They're newer, and I'm trying to be as understanding as possible. I get that they're newer to this space, and I feel like I'm a little bit a little bit intense with them, I guess is what I could say. But I really just care about them not losing money more than their feelings, and I'm trying to get a little bit better at that. All right, I'm not gonna say I told you guys so. I'm not gonna tell you guys I told you so, but when we do look at this chart, of course, we were right. And so this is really the main chart that I'm looking at. And I told you guys that the dip wasn't over, and I hope that you guys listened to me because the dip wasn't over and you would have saved a lot of money. So this is the ETH to Bitcoin chart. I don't want to confuse anybody. So we called all the price action down here yesterday and we called all these chart movements, and Bitboy actually got liquidated. I actually did predict that Bitboy was going to get liquidated from that dump that we actually called. Yeah, we only have 100 subs and Bitboy has over 500,000, and he got liquidated on the call that I said was going to happen. All right, so we do have a long or a short signal right here on Market Cipher on the daily. We did predict this. I did say that it was going to come back up and then come down again, and it did. And again, our price target, we had multiple price targets. Obviously, they all got hit already. And really what we're looking for right now is this. A lot of people, a lot of YouTubers said that this wasn't possible. I said, listen, guys, the reason that we're not getting liquidated, the reason that we're outperforming every single YouTube channel on crypto, and I love crypto and I love Bitboy, and you guys know that, but we've outpredicted everybody. They're not even really predictions anymore, and they're not even really predictions to begin with. We're just really good at reading the charts over here. So this is why this is significant. Everybody in the crypto space is saying the same stupid stuff, and I don't want to say it's stupid, but it is stupid, and it's hurting a lot of people, and a lot of people are losing a lot of money. And we talked about this yesterday, and it's because they don't watch this channel. It's literally because they don't watch this channel. I told you guys the dip most likely wasn't over, and you constantly see that we continue to dip. So you put in a long position, and you get liquidated. But yeah. So I mean, look, you put in a long position. You're like, I'm gonna put in a long position. I'm gonna put in a long position. I told you guys to wait. I told you guys exactly what we needed. Yeah, and we never got exactly what we needed. But the reason why ETH is dropping, and everybody's like, in the space is like, oh, ETH this, ETH is undervalued, ETH is this, ETH is that, and the reason it keeps dropping is because of the chart I showed you in the beginning. This is what every YouTuber is missing. This is what every crypto expert is missing. This is what, and I love a lot of these guys. I really do, but I don't want to say we're better than them, but we have been making like 10 times literally the amount of calls that they have, and they've all been correct. So we needed a chart with more liquidity. So I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin really quick, and then I'm going to go back to talking about ETH because that's really the big thing in the space. But yeah, I looked at Bitboy subs. He has like 500 54 and we only have 100. So yeah, I told you guys before. I know I told you guys I wasn't gonna say I told you guys, but we did break all these levels, which I said if we break these levels last stream that we would be doing good on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing good. There is this bearish candlestick right here. So it's kind of losing its momentum. This is a pretty bearish candlestick on the hourly. And then but it is doing better than Ethereum. Like, so Bitcoin's up more than Ethereum, which the graph that I showed you guys, we already I don't know how I can't say I told you so, but as predicted, Bitcoin is doing better than Ethereum. Although we'll see how that plays out. You know, again, what we're looking for right here in the immediate short term is we're going to pull up a Fibonacci tool. And if you don't see this on other channels, like when we called the bottom on ETH, when we do all these things, like it really just comes down to education. And like I said, a lot of these bigger channels, believe it or not, don't have the education to do half the stuff we do on this channel, more than half the stuff, if we're being honest. And so we draw a horizontal line, and yeah, that looks good. And then you do it right here. Yeah, perfect. So we want to see it hold above this red line in the immediate short term, and we're looking at the hourly close. And if this hourly close can hold above this red line right here, the price should continue to go up based off of this candlestick technical. And if the price does go down, it would be considered bearish and more favorable for it to go down. So that's very clear, cut, dry technical analysis to really give you an idea, big picture of what we're looking at with this. We're going to go to some other charts. Obviously, I love these charts. They've been so accurate, and I told you, I knew I was. I'm just going to keep saying I told you guys so, or I'll say as predicted. As predicted, it was going to go up here, it was going to go up here, and it did happen. And so the possibility that we do hit these levels right here and then have some resistance is definitely something to keep in mind. So this is a very important chart that we're going to continue to look at. I think it was just that one day. I think I told you guys I told you so, like probably like 20 times, and I was just like, that's ridiculous, but I don't know what else to say. Oh. So yeah, ETH is not doing too well right now. On the 4-hour, I don't even have to pull up a fib on this. It's already, and then on top of the macro fibs that we charted yesterday, it's just not faring well. And it looks like that continuation that we predicted. Prediction sounds stupid anyways, because we're doing TA. Like I told you guys, it should continue to go down over the more macro time frame is what I said. You know, I said it was going to cool off a little bit, and it cooled off a little bit, and then it was going to move down further in the more macro trends, and it did. And so that's kind of like what we're going to continue to see. It looks like I said, you know, there's a lot of bearishness on that ETH to Bitcoin comparative chart that everybody's missing, that everybody's sleeping on. I don't know what people are sleeping on more, this channel or the ETH to Bitcoin comparative and our technical analysis on it. But either way, they are losing a lot of money. Yeah, that was kind of messed up that I was laughing yesterday. I tried not to. You guys know that I was trying not to laugh when we were calling that dump. I told you people were going to lose a massive amount of money. The only thing I can do, though, is be on this channel and help people out, which is what I'm doing. I can't do anything more than that. If the community doesn't want to sub to the channel, that's not my fault. If, you know, Bitboy's not subbed to the channel, if Bitboy would have been subbed to the channel, he would have saved a lot of money. he got wrecked this morning. I know he has 500,000 subs, but okay, so that was that chart. So this is Bybit. Let's go. We have multiple on this channel. We don't just cover one graph. We have a bunch of graphs, a bunch of different perspectives. This is kind of your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency. This is literally the only channel that you have to follow. You can follow whatever you want, but we give you all the information you need. And this one looks like it's a low liquidity exchange. But let me just double check with that. Yeah, it is. And then I think we have one more chart on here. So Bybit, Coinbase, and then I believe Femex or Bitchermex. I like this idea a lot, and we were kind of talking about it yesterday, where it rides this area right here, and then when it falls below it, it's bearish, and then and this is on the 4 hour. Historically, we've seen a lot of relevancy on the 4 hour, like we were talking about yesterday. So just something to keep an eye on is that it seems to be riding this wave right here on the 4 hour, because it's like, okay, well, that's obvious, but then click on the 1 hour and it's not so obvious. Okay, and then what are we on? So Bitchermex. Is that I thought we had another Bitcoin graph. That's fine. I think all our like consolidation patterns and stuff already played out on the lower time frames. Let's go back to ETH. You guys know we have a lot of good ETH charts. So we got Kraken. So that one we already looked at. Again, this is not looking good. If this candlestick closes on ETH on the 4 hour, that's not going to be good. And something that I'd be looking at is potentially like, there's a lot of things we'd be looking at. Like this is really the main thing that I would be looking at. Here, I'll show you in a second. I'll zoom out. So you can see how this Fibonacci speed fan is like almost perfectly tap, tap. And so I would expect, just from like a fractal type idea, for us to come down possibly to right here. This would be a relatively decent area, but you guys know that we have that incredible channel on one of our trading channels on one of our other charts that we're going to be looking at. This is really good too. So everybody said a dump wasn't possible yesterday, and we actually called it. So I'm going to draw that right there, and then that will be our measured move. Let me make sure I'm still connected. Dope. Alright. ETH. So let's go back to that real trading channel, because like I said, a lot of people aren't really going to be looking at this, but this is exactly what we need to be looking at. So it's on, so that was Coinbase, we looked at Kraken, it's on Bybit. So this is huge. This is really what you guys want to bring your attention to. Like I said, a lot of the community is going to be sleeping, but right now, even though we're the smallest channel, we are leading with the best technicals. So like I said, this fractal idea could definitely play out. So you constantly see the price come down into this blue area right here. And so, like I said before, definitely an idea like this. And we actually called like this exact dip. And so I said, another dip like this could definitely be possible. If not, we could definitely hit this area right here. And what I was saying yesterday is, if we do come down and hit the bottom of this channel right here with the fractal idea, or not the fractal, it wouldn't be called a fractal, but like in unison, yeah, that would probably be the best word to say, in unison with the double top that we're looking out on this chart right here, because there's this massive double top that we've been talking about on a long time. And these charts are really clean, And so really you have this wedge right here that we're concerned about. The whole chart just looks bearish. It was like, I don't want to say it was common sense because that sounds mean, especially to all the other YouTubers, but it is definitely a bearish chart for sure. And this double top right here playing out, if we do hit the bottom of this double top right here, so the measured move for this is drawn right here, and then we had a small double top which we ended up, I think it was right here, yeah, yesterday we drew it and it hit our target, and people thought we were crazy for that, and of course it played out, but we were in a downtrend. We had a lot of bearish signals. We pulled up in best faith. We pulled up the Fibonacci trend based, and there was nothing to show that we were reversing. In fact, we hit this golden pocket area, which we talk about a lot on the channel to look for reversals, and we actually hit it as resistance and then continued down. And then as of right now, we just broke this lower low and we're setting all-time new lows right now. So extremely bearish on the bit to ETH. And so, like I said, there's so many people longing. There's so many people that are new to the space. They think Ethereum is undervalued, and it is. It is very undervalued. They think Ethereum is very undervalued, and what they're doing is they're longing it. They don't really know how to trade, but they say, oh, well, Ethereum's extremely undervalued. It has to go back up. It dipped, and then they're longing the dip, and then the dip isn't finished like what we warned about yesterday, and they're just getting absolutely wrecked. There's people that were longing in the dip, like I called that Bitboy was going to be doing, and then he posted a video. I mean, mad respect for him to calling himself out, like, obviously massive, and I love Bitboy. I really, really love Bitboy. But my point is this: the community, it's saying one thing, but we're looking at the charts, and the charts are looking like we're gonna come down to this level, if not test. The whole point of this was that we were gonna wick in this area, and people would have thought I was crazy for even saying that. And look at, we wicked in this area. That's what this support box is here for. So, I mean, if it does end up tapping here and not breaking this low right here, like what I talked about yesterday, at this point people are probably like, he's constantly talking about what he's already talked about before. But you gotta give me props because we were right always, and I'm just continuating what I said yesterday because it's still in play. We hit this area right here, and then if we are to bounce, this is what I'm looking for. And I tell you guys all the time, we can't just be cocky. We don't want to be cocky and put limit orders at these levels right here and anticipate a bounce. You can't anticipate anything in technical analysis. And like I said, we see kid get wrecked after wrecked after wrecked. I just see it all the time in this space because they put limit orders. And the reason we're just so ridiculously good on this channel, and it's not even like arrogant, like we literally just do exactly what we're supposed to do and we kill it. We do not put limit orders at this level. We're waiting for a bounce. We're waiting for a bullish retest. And if we do get a bullish retest and we find this area as support, then this will still be a low, and then this will still be a higher low. And like I said, this would be one of the biggest opportunities in crypto space. You guys know that I called the bottom on crypto, and and that was very big, obviously. And our Cardano call was obviously, I think this Ethereum call is going to be like when I told people to put their life savings in at 11,000. I think that this Ethereum call, if it ends up playing out, is going to be as big as when I told you guys to get Cardano when it was 10 cents. I think this Ethereum call is going to be life-changing money, and the potential on a 10x long would be, and I mean, I wouldn't do it on a 10x long, but I know you could make it happen on a 10x long most likely. And that would be a 10,000% return, literally, from where I'm expecting this to at least hit. And this could be one of those positions that the price doesn't come down until a major correction, if even a major correction. And on low leverage, this could be a position that you enter into and keep for the entire bull run. And then really all you have to worry about is the funding rate. But that would be absolutely massive. Let's see. So BTC USD. So obviously this is a big deal, and that's why we're talking about it so much on the channel, and I'm keeping you guys updated on it. Alright, I'm gonna go look at some other... I was actually looking at synthetics last night and charting it. So like I said, I'm not gonna shill any crap coins for you guys, but what I used to do, if you have a Coinbase account or you get a Coinbase account, there's pros and cons to it. But what I used to do in my Coinbase account is I actually used to trade the coins. It's actually a very low fee to trade between coins. So, for example, if we were to hit this bottom area right here, right now, if synthetics does bounce right here, this would potentially be the best opportunity for it before it breaking out. But we have to wait for a bounce right here. But what I would do is I would trade. I would say, okay, you know, we just made all this money on Uniswap, which we did. We made, I think, 22, 23%. And then as soon as I got a confirmation on synthetics for a breakout, I would put my money into synthetics, and then we would get another 20 whatever percent. Now, again, nothing's confirmed on these charts yet. It's a bearish close if it does close there. We want to see at least a wick. And so because of that, because there's no wick and there's just a lot of bearish ideas on this, I would wait for a breakout, which we're doing. So we're going to come back to that. But what I would do is I would make like 22% on Uni. Then I would swap it to synthetics and make like another 22%. And then I would put it into Chainlink, and I would make 30% on Chainlink. And I would make a lot of money just having, to be honest, an extremely small portfolio on Coinbase, like, because I use a lot of different exchanges, and I have money all over the place on all these different exchanges, and wallets and ledgers. I have multiple ledgers, and so one of the ways that I made good money was by trading these coins, not trading them as in using leverage and like doing all that, but literally just trading these coins. And the reason I never lost money and I was always profitable with it is because I wasn't buying crap coins. So because I wasn't buying any like crap coins, like once or twice that it wasn't a trade, but like I was like, oh, this coin looks undervalued, and then it would just take a little bit longer than expected for it to pump, and I wouldn't lose any money. I wouldn't be scared or anything because I was holding a good coin. And that's a lot of what we talk about on this channel, and it's like extremely important. So like I said, this line is absolutely monumentally important, and the fact that we broke this, obviously the market was very bearish on that. If we get a close, then you know, it's like risk to reward ratio on Link. You know, you can get in at a good price potentially, but the price could get down lower, or you could wait for that again initial break. What would you call that? Initial breakout of this trend line. But Link, I think Link's undervalued. I'm not necessarily getting involved with it right now. The charts don't look good, but Link is definitely one of the best cryptocurrencies in the crypto space. It's definitely one of the best cryptos in the cryptocurrency space. Like I said, decentralized oracles are the reason like why Ethereum can operate. It brings in the real data so that the systems aren't getting lied to. Decentralized oracles are absolutely monumental. What's the other one? We were looking at Uni. And it's just so cool because the other week I was like so genuinely confused on live stream. I was like, how is this one not pumping? The next day we have this massive shoot up, and we called our double bottom, and it played out perfectly. That's just dirty. But you know, it's like, if you're really like, if you really know what you're doing and you're absolutely perplexed as to why a cryptocurrency isn't moving, it's probably a good idea to get into it. Is what we've learned in cryptocurrency. Now, that's not the same as like Ethereum. Like that just comes down to ignorance. Ethereum is going down because of the ETH to Bitcoin comparative chart. But if there is actually no good reason why a cryptocurrency is going down, cost-based averaging in and getting in and basically putting your money against the market, that is definitely the way to win big, and we've shown that with everything we've held. Specifically Cardano. Like Cardano was so scary when I was at 10 cents, like it would not go up, and I'm like, well, I believe in the project. Well, I believe in the project. It's 10 cents the whole time. I believe in the project. It's 10 cents the whole time. It's not going up. I'm like, well, I believe in the project, and then all of a sudden 900% returns. So I mean, we could be a normie and just put up a fib retracement. So from swing high to swing low on this pump right here. Oh wow, that looks really good. You have this perfect bounce right here. So what I want to see is I want to see more of a wick. I definitely want to see more of a wick. A candlestick close right here on the 4 hour is not going to be good and could push the price down lower. Yeah, I want to see a wick. Alright, what else are we looking at? What else do we look at? Ask me if you have any coins that you want to look at. Let's go to Bitcoin, USD. So not that chart. I think it's the Bybit chart that's really good. That's Fibonacci, Bybit. So yeah, a lot of our charting is already played out. Oh, is this the chart where we called the bottom? No. We had another chart where we literally called the bottom. You guys gotta remind me, I get so confused with these charts. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only YouTubers that will go over multiple charts for one. Because I want to give you guys so much information. There it is. Yeah, we actually called the bottom on this chart. This is a legendary chart. This is absolutely legendary. I was literally screaming. I scream a lot. But yeah, I was just screaming on that call. And you guys could all see that live for free. So again, really what we're looking at, because a lot of people are, I mean, we could come and hit this area again, like definitely, no problems whatsoever. We could also come up to this area right over here and get rejected. Now, this is a straight gorgeous chart. There should be, oh, this one isn't the one, but we have a Fibonacci extension around the $60,000 level. So, I mean, I'm concerned about that. Especially if I was in a trade. I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, but it's already proven. We've already hit a level on it. It's on, again, we use a bunch of different charts. Because we share so much information that it's not possible. Like it clutters up the charts, and I actually have subscribers complain that there's way too much going on in the charts when I only use one chart. So I use multiple charts to convey all the information, because you have to know all this stuff, and it's all gold. So yeah, we use multiple different charts. So on another chart that I just showed you, we have that Fibonacci at 60K, which I'm concerned about. If I was in a trade, I'm not in a Bitcoin trade, just because, like I said, we're taking advantage of the Ethereum, and that's really what I'm looking at. And I mean, I hold a lot of Bitcoin, so I could really care less about a trade. But I'm looking at that 60K level. I'll get that exact fib for you in a second, but I'm also looking at this top band right here, which is going to be massive. Don't sleep on this band. And then what nobody on the internet is covering is this level right here, which, you know, we've hit it like multiple times. And really what it is and what I was talking about is when you come back to these lower levels, this is the bottom of the band, and so it's constantly hitting old trend lines, essentially suppressing the price. These calls are just stupid. Pump, dump, continuation. After these calls, rest on this area of support. That was bullish right there. Because these are all different trend lines, or these are all Fibonacci areas that we were looking at. Because I didn't just say, are we going to pump or are we going to dump or whatever. I told you exactly what needed to happen for a continuation to the upside. And obviously our criteria was met, and obviously. But yeah, so like really what we're looking at here, we're obviously looking at an uptrend. Obviously we're looking at everything you see right here. All the information's charted. I'm looking for, like, if you're looking for a trade, I'm looking at this band right here. And again, like we saved so many people so much money on that Ethereum trade. You can't just wait for the breakout. If you could trade on a breakout, but the problem is that if this breakout happens anytime soon, just, you know, going off the top of my head, because I've been doing this for a while, RSI is going to be overheated, and it's most likely going to at least wick before it continues higher, at least. Really, you want to trade a breakout. You don't really want to trade a breakout, but if you want to have the highest risk to the highest reward, and in my trading and my style, I would never do this just because it never makes sense. But what you could do is you could trade the breakout if we do end up consolidating up to this point and you think that there's a lot of bullish momentum in the space. I see it way too much. People don't listen to like the confirmations that we always talk about on this channel, and just recently everybody got wrecked on ETH, but it happens all the time. They hit the breakout, they long it, and then it just wicks back down and then blasts off, and they get liquidated when they should have made like 24% on the move, and they hate themselves. And really, to save yourself all the stress, what we end up doing is we look for our confirmations, which you guys already know about on the channel, and then we look for a test. We look for it to come down, hit that area, and then what I like to see is I like to see it come up, test the support area, and then break above, setting a new all-time high, and that's when I'll start adding to the position as we get more bullish in the trade, and then as we get more bearish in the trade, based off of just different things. Like for example, right now, if I would have took this trade and we would have closed this 4-hour candlestick, this would be a bearish candlestick close. Again, I got this red line for you to see. If we close above this red line, it's looking healthy. If we close below this red line, which right now we're below it, then it's going to be bearish. If I was in a trade right now, I would close a little bit of my position in profits, because obviously we said, you know, it was going to go up, but there was nothing to trade, so obviously I didn't trade it. But if I was total degenerate and I did trade it, I would be in profits right now, like we said on the channel. And then if it did close right here, I would just take some of my profits. And again, like, I never try and be mean or anything. Like, it's just I want to save you guys money, and you're never gonna. If you take these trades that aren't actual trades, it's just better going to the casino. It's probably just better going playing blackjack at that point. I think these touch points are on the hourly. Let's check this out, because this could be a really good critical area for potential resistance. Yeah, so you have this touch point, and then you have these two touch points. It just looked weird because it was on the 4 hour. Like I said, you know, if my charts look weird, it's probably just because I drew it on a higher time frame, and they're all good. Wow, this looks really good. Yeah, it looks good. Bitcoin, Ethereum, BT. So again, it's kind of like what we've been talking about constantly. It's just going to slowly do it because it can't really fight the macro trends because there's so much like downside factored into the macro of these trends. So you're going to constantly see a wick, move back up, wick down. I mean, this looks like, oh, well, it's reversing. Oh, this is a hammer. But like I said, you can't just learn technical analysis. You have to be able to be you have to have some intelligence and understand the whole story of the market, and that's really where the like skill and the artisan of this comes in. And so yes, this is a reversal candlestick, this is a hammer, and you would think the price would go back up, but when you look at the whole story, when you look at the downtrend, the double top, and how the charts are playing out, we're most likely going to continue to wick in this literal wick box. I created a wick box because when you drag it back, what is this, the hourly? When you drag it back, there's constant tops that I was expecting to start hit as resistance, and that's exactly what we, or as support, and that's exactly what we have. But we're going to break through them unless something drastically happens with Bitcoin. But this chart is affecting Ethereum drastically, and a lot of people know that. So what else? Let's take a look at, let's take a look at total. This is one of the most important charts. And like our charting on this is just so ridiculously dirty. We called everything perfectly. This is a lot of the reason why we knew there was going to be a dump. Oh my gosh, these charts are just so, oh my gosh. I had to hop off yesterday because it's just ridiculous. I was almost crying the other day. Like, we're just straight money machine. Okay. So I told you guys about this downtrend. This is really where I started drawing. And then I told you guys we have to break above it, and we didn't, and we went lower. And I drew this axis as a way to show you exactly where we were going to go, and then we ended up breaking it, and I said that there was going to be downside, and there was, and then we ended up wicking at this exact level that we called, and then we ended up breaking through this area, touching it as support essentially, which is really bullish. We continued up, and really what we're looking at, again, this area isn't massively important, so there's not really anything it's fighting right now. This only has 2 touch points. This was a warning signal for this dump, which we called. But it looks like it is, it looks like it did get validated by this right here. So this is actually what we're looking at right now. So candlestick on the, let's look at the 4 hour to get a really good idea of what's going on here. This is absolutely massively important. So if you're a little bit newer to the space, is this total, and the way total works is it's the total cryptocurrency market cap. And as new money flows into the space, basically Bitcoin does good and Bitcoin does bad. And how people think that it was impossible to call that dump yesterday, we actually did it largely because we were looking at total. And when you see Bitcoin pumps, you see total making all new time highs. So it's kind of a competitive advantage to be looking at this chart. This is absolutely monumental chart. It's also really good for altcoins, as opposed to just looking at BTCD, which we'll look at a little bit later. But yeah, I'm not going to cover it too much. Just basically, if this chart does good, then cryptocurrency does good. So it's very important that we cover it. Because if you're in altcoins, if you're in Bitcoin, you need to look at this chart. If this chart does good, you do good, basically. So right here we have this bearish on the 4 hour. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see a close. And again, I don't just say it looks bearish. I mean, it does look bearish, but I want to give you guys exact measurements. And I'll give you the conservative measurement, and I will give you the and I'll give you the more aggressive measurement. So it would be this one right here. So you draw this one down like this, and then you draw this one down like this. And again, this is really what everybody's looking at. This is the 4 hour candlestick close. This is absolutely monumental. If this closes, that would be a bearish engulfing on the total. And you know, we talk about how we don't leverage trade altcoins. Like, obviously we call all the altcoin trades, but we don't leverage trade them for a lot of the reasons I've covered before. It just literally doesn't make sense. You make plenty of money doing Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you know, we do trade them, but we don't leverage trade them. So right here, if we were to close, we need to at least close above this line as the most conservative target. And then if we do close above this line, basically, it's basically just a doji type idea where we're basically just consolidating. Anything like what we're seeing right now, if we close anywhere below this line right here, is going to be bearish. All right. So that is total, and then, you know, we'll keep you updated on all the different trend lines that are getting validated. Let's go to BTC.D, BTC.D, Bitcoin dominance. So again, Bitcoin dominance is how much money is flowing into Bitcoin and how much money is flowing into altcoins. Essentially, when you have what we have in, this looks like a inverse head and shoulders possibly. No, it's not an inverse head and shoulders. Oh, it does look like a double top though. And this is a correct double top. Again, in this space, we see so many incorrect double tops and people just get absolutely wrecked. But this is definitely a correct double top, and there's multiple ways of drawing it, and we've had this graph on the chart for a long time. It's going to take me a little bit to explain it, and it is very, very relative. So, like I said, on this channel, we cover exactly what you need to know. Pay attention, because if you're in crypto, you have to know this. So essentially right here, I'm going to get out the drawing tool so you guys can better understand exactly what we're looking at. And there's a few ways of drawing this. All of them are correct and all of them mean the same thing. But I'm just going to draw it on the most macro pattern because I don't want to give you guys too much information because you guys get confused. So this is clearly the first bottom. And then this is clearly the second bottom. So this is a chart formation called a double bottom, if you're a little bit newer to the space. And this is correct because the price action comes in from the top, bottoms once, bottoms twice. A lot of people, most people in the space will just call it double bottom even when the price action doesn't come in from the top, and that's not textbook, and it's just incorrect. You can use it, it can work, but it's incorrect. And we don't cover speculative technical analysis on this channel. So you have this neckline right here. So this is called a neckline, and this is really the main critical area of support that we're looking at right now. You see the price action come down and hit this level as support and bounce off. Then what you see is this double bottom formation, and then you see price action come back to this level and hit it as resistance. What we need to see out of Bitcoin dominance, and why do we look at Bitcoin dominance? When we're painting a whole picture. I'm painting the whole picture. I'm explaining to you everything you need to know in cryptocurrency. So we don't have money coming into the space right now. The total market cap right now, the money's flowing out of the space. So then what we do is we look at Bitcoin dominance, because we want to see, okay, there's a limited amount of money in cryptocurrency. Some of the money's in Bitcoin, some of the money's in altcoins. And this is basically a graph that shows how much money is in Bitcoin versus how much money is in altcoins. As this graph pumps up, Bitcoin does well. As the graph pumps down, then money flows into altcoins, and altcoins do well. Why do we look at this? Well, when total market cap is saying that there's only a limited supply of currency in the space, because total's not pumping, we have to look at this graph to see, okay, there's only a limited amount of money in the space, where is it flowing? All right, with that being said, because again, you can't just look at these charts, you have to have the full picture, because this chart gets invalidated if everything's pumping in total. And again, we always cover that on this channel. So like I said, I'm not going to say it anymore, but yeah, everything you need to know that's on this channel. So you constantly see support, and then basically we're just hitting that as resistance. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure the move, because you're like, okay, we potentially have a double bottom right here. And what I'm going to tell you is a double bottom is a reversal idea. So if total continues to go down, and we're not bringing our opinions into this, I'm just telling you what's on the chart. If total continues to go down and Bitcoin continues to pump, essentially altcoins could get wrecked, at least in the short term. At least in the short term. And again, I'm not bringing my opinions into this, I'm just showing you what's on the chart. And that saved our channel a lot of money. So this would be the measured move. So it's okay, this is a reversal type idea. This is a reversal type idea. This is the neckline. If it does break and hold above this level right here, then then Bitcoin dominance could pump up to here. That would be good for Bitcoin. Money would be flowing back into Bitcoin. That would be bad for altcoins. And essentially right here, you would be breaking this huge level right here, which is a high. So I'm going to keep those lines, and I'm going to add a few more lines so that you guys, I'm just going to take it level by level. I'm going to chart everything level by level, so it's very easy to understand. So this is a high right here. Is it already charted? Okay, nice. You already have that charted. So basically, if it breaks this right here, that's going to be even more bullish for Bitcoin, even more bearish for altcoins. This line right here, I'm going to be covering it a lot on the channel. Again, if it breaks above this line right here, this is going to start the move up to right here. This would be the potential area of resistance, where potentially we could just wick this area right here, not get a close, and then come back down. Alt season would still be okay, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I know a lot of people are holding altcoins. And here's what I have to say about it. Looking, not giving my own opinions, but looking at the charts that we're looking at right now. This is what I have to say. If you're holding altcoins right now and you're a little bit concerned, I just wouldn't really recommend buying right now. And if you're holding right now, like I said, people always come up to me, is this the top? Is this the top? And we always tell them no. And we always say people a massive amount of money, because what we see constantly is people coming into the space at 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 and then selling. And, we called the bottom, and we haven't sold a penny of Bitcoin against everybody. People were screaming sell at like 32K. 46. We know what we're doing. So my point is this. We on this channel, we think that Bitcoin's going to 100,000, and up to this point we've been 100% accurate. If that's even remotely the case. And we don't just say that. We go over the stock to flow, we go over all the charts that we constantly show. If that is the case, there's going to be more than one alt season. So I'm not recommending that you panic sell your alts regardless of this. Really what this just shows is right now it's probably not the best time to be buying altcoins, and a lot of the market is going to be looking at these ideas and saying, this is a major neckline right here. This is a major neckline right here. This is, definitely a double bottom at the very least right here, with this being the neckline, which is why we have this line drawn right here. So if it hits this line right here, this is going to be extremely bearish for altcoins if, crypto market cap continues to go down. So I gave you the exact facts for if we get that candlestick close on total, those exact levels, then that would be bearish. And then if we continued to pump Bitcoin and we hit this level and had a breakout and then we broke, so I told you the whole story on that. So you had to know that. I told it to you. Let's continue on. So we went over total. Next, we're going to go over DXY. And again, if you're new to the space, you're going to be like, why is he showing me DXY? What even is DXY? This is your edge in the market. This is what you have to know. This is absolutely monumentally important, so we're covering it. So let me just give you a quick overview of what we're looking at. So this is called the dollar index. US dollar currency index. And why are we looking at this if we're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? What does this have to do with cryptocurrency? As you guys are probably very familiar, Bitcoin is used by institutions and the whole stock market in general, they dictate most of the markets. And when the dollar is cheap, like you see the dollar trending downwards. When the dollar is cheap, then they put their money into assets like Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price almost as a self-fulfilling prophecy, but also because of this ends up pumping. When the DXY starts pumping, that's bad for assets and what we're looking at right now, cryptocurrency. So what we have right here on the charts is called a double top. Like I said, I'm always going to keep you guys updated, so we've been over this chart a bunch. And really, again, what we're looking at is if this level right here ends up breaking and this double top ends up playing out, this would be a measured move of 74% on the DXY, and this would probably be a pit stop right here, nearly guaranteed. Yeah, right here would be perfect. So we're gonna draw a line right there. So again, this is like mandatory. This is what you have to know, because I mean, if we get a pump on the DXY, what does that mean? That most likely means that total crypto market cap is going to go up, and if total crypto market cap goes up, then alts do really well, then Bitcoin does really well, and again, you have an edge over the market as to what you're looking at. So it's going to be this spot right here. Yeah, so you constantly have support, breaks down, and then resistance. So it's support, flipped resistance, breaks it, and then monumental move. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a key level. Again, I do have some Forex experience, and we go over that, and we trade based off of resistance support levels primarily. And that's exactly what I'm showing you right here. And so again, if we do break this level, this is going to be extremely good for Bitcoin. We could see a small bounce right here, hit this area as resistance, and then continue down to give you an idea of what's going to be going on with the asset markets, specifically what we're talking about right now, Bitcoin, and kind of giving you, again, that competitive advantage that you need to know in this space, because it's what we say every time on this channel. If you're just looking at Bitcoin's price, you're going to be confused. Okay, so this is at 62 level right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to go to the daily, work on that. Yeah, so we're going to go to the daily real quick, and we're going to look at some price targets for Bitcoin. Okay, that's as much as you can zoom in. So we clearly hit this Fibonacci extension level right here, and then this is the next one we're looking at right here. Not a lot of people are talking about this level. If I was trading it, and on this channel we're not, but I know that there's going to be people that are. 60,236. That's going to be the main level that we're looking at as a potential resistance. It also lines up perfectly with this area that we've looked at multiple times. That Bitcoin has come up, hit this area multiple times, and then found resistance. So this is a key critical level right here. This is essentially the bottom of of this channel, of this rising channel. So the fact that these two intersect together is going to be massive. And we could just see it. We could breeze past it. We could see it as resistance, but I don't think it's going to be anything more than a take profit level in a trade. And I'm not just saying that. We go over stock to flow, and everything looks really healthy right now. Everything looks really good on the charts. Yeah, we called it on another chart. We have a bunch of charts. Let's see. This could be not a head and shoulders. Yeah, I mean, it's really just an uptrend more than anything. These candlesticks right here, so we're looking at this area right here, we're looking at this area right here as potential support. This is like not textbook, but this is nearly three black crows. The reason it's not three black crows is because these aren't fat enough. These candle bodies aren't fat enough, but this is definitely bearish. It's almost like fat dojis, but they're not dojis. But it's essentially not looking good. And then what we're really concerned about, like what I've been talking about, is if we go to the 4 hour, it's going to be this massive candlestick. This is all really just an idea, and those dojis are all just relatively bearish and are bearish. But like I said, really what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive, it's going to be massively bearish if we get close. If we get a candlestick close right here, we're most likely going to drop. Not like tank, but we're going to just drop maybe not to that level. But we could hit this level because this is a valid trend line further back. But let's go over that idea for a second. So we're going to go to Bybit charts. Oh, are we on Bybit? Okay. Should be Coinbase, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if we found support at this level right here, then potentially what we could do is hit this level again before continuing higher. Now, the markets are pretty bullish, and you have to think about not just the technical analysis, but the market psychology. And a lot of people, because we just broke all-time highs again, are going to be extremely bullish on Bitcoin. They're going to be setting limit orders. So as we do come to these levels right here, we're most likely going to hit these levels, bounce, hit these levels, bounce, hit these levels, bounce, hit these levels, bounce, because we understand how the market works. And a lot of people are longing the market right now, and a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to be doing well because they're having massive euphoria because we just broke all-time highs again. And because of that, so you basically have the ignorant side of the market and you have the smart side of the market, and they're going to be interacting. And this is exactly the breakdown of what I talk about. And this happens all the time in the market. So the smart money is going to be looking and saying, okay, well, I'm level-headed. I know what I'm doing. And what we have right here is a bearish candlestick close if we do end up getting a close anywhere around here. And they're going to say this is bearish, so I'm not necessarily going to long it. If anything, I'm going to stay out of the market. Or, some people would short it. I don't recommend that. But then you're going to have the dumb money that's about to lose money, and they're going to, and as the price is getting pushed down by the big money, because the money gets ciphered out. All the biggest money, the people that are best at trading, they make the most money, they keep their money. And so the market always plays out based off of this TA, because the biggest money, the smartest money, the ones that keep their money are the ones that are using it. and the price is going to come down and then fill the stupid money's limit orders, fill the stupid money's limit orders, fill the stupid money's limit orders before potentially hitting this area right here, bouncing off of it, making a great opportunity. At this point, you know, the market's going to recognize that we're in an uptrend, everything's looking very good, and then we're going to continue higher. Now that's just an idea right now. Currently, the reason we have these lines drawn, not only are they Fibonacci areas and the price is being respected, but you see resistance, resistance, you see that right there. And then it's being flipped as support right now. But again, it's that idea that, you know, like I was just about to say, it's that idea that it comes down and basically just takes a breather right here. It doesn't necessarily, it's just finding it temporarily as support. Shorters are just taking profits before potentially pushing down the market more. It could hold, but at this point, you know, it's just a case-by-case basis. We have to look to see if this area holds as support or if we flip it as resistance. And really, like I said before, the make or break in that opinion of the smart money is going to be if we get that bearish 4-hour candlestick close that we're looking at very closely on the charts. We need to close above this red line. Anything's possible, but it's not looking good right now. And so yeah, potentially coming down to this line right here would be amazing. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that would be great. And then I told you exactly how it would happen. It wouldn't just tank all at one time. That's not possible because there's so many limit orders stacked up at those levels. And I forget when it was, but we call that so many times. People are like, is the price just going to tank? I feel like the price is, and there's too many limit orders stacked up. You have to understand that there's so many people that are FOMOing in right now. There's so many people stacking up limit orders right now, trying to get a cheaper price on Bitcoin, because it's that joke that, like, when I was telling everybody to buy at 11, put their life savings in, it's like, oh no, it's too, you know, risky back then. And then when it pops up to like 58,000, everybody's like, shut up and take my money. It's, you know, that ridiculous paradox that people have. Okay, so this is absolutely massive right here, and this looks like we're gonna, again, like we've been talking about a lot, continue down on Ethereum. It looks almost self-perpetuated. You have this right here, which is the low, and then I was just glancing at it. I thought it was a lower low. Maybe it's not. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, we're looking for a lower low right here in the immediate short term. And if we do get that, then, and it does look bearish. I mean, you have this bearish close, you have this bearish close. You know, Market Cipher saying this isn't looking good. And then you obviously have that BTC to ETH comparative chart. I'm going to take some questions. I'm going to look and see if we have any questions. And I'm going to take some questions. If you have any coins that you're looking at, let me know. I don't want to be mean. I don't take... Can you please look at XLM? Yeah, I can look at XLM. ADA seems forced and manipulated, can pump and dump, not reflected in real value in long term. Hike in price only because people are trying to hype this stock above the actual value. So I don't know why people say stock, but it's a cryptocurrency. Maybe if that's what you mean, I don't know. But I think ADA is really good, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you heard me talk about how I'm like super bullish on ADA, but I'll put that against anybody that ADA is not overvalued. I love ADA. Well, maybe I actually do like agree with you that it is overvalued, because it's like one of those things. I'm gonna look at XLM right now, and we have a lot of really good TA on XLM already set up, but is this XLM.D? Should be on Kraken. But as far as Cardano goes, the fundamentals are there. The real intrinsic value on Cardano is there. And the real negligence of the market is the blind assertion that the dApps that haven't been built on it are its downfall. When really what makes a cryptocurrency valuable is the lines of code that's written into it, obviously, and then it's a self-perpetuating build of momentum, just like Bitcoin. It's like saying that Bitcoin, was this or that, and then all of a sudden, because more money flows into it, all of a sudden it's more valuable now. Well, yeah, that is true, because you want to have an economy. You want to have a bunch of people that believe in it, and then that adds value. But the facts in Cardano's favor, and I mean, I've been talking about this since the beginning. I was preaching this when it was 10 cents. It's like Charles Hopkins said, and I get that this might be relatively biased because he is the founder, but what I think is that what he said is that I'm trying to do two things at one time. What he said is that Cardano, like 73% of guaranteed at least 73% of Ethereum's network want to migrate over to Cardano. That alone, with its scalability and low gas fees, already puts it at a higher evaluation long term than Ethereum. That alone. Now, if you look at the code and the ability and ease of use and all these different things that are so beneficial that have made companies like Apple, like why do people like Apple? Because people are normies and they don't want to really think too hard, so they want this ease of use cell phone. And that's really, if you ask a lot of people, the success behind Apple is that ease of use. Well, with JavaScript code being able to build into Cardano, that ease of use, that code that most people are familiar with, it just brings open an entire ecosystem of new developers to build on top of the platform that's already expected to have 73% of the existing community coming in, on top of the codes of line and the better scalability, the way the network's set up that's more decentralized than Ethereum, Bitcoin. If not the most decentralized, it's one of the most staked platforms. It's one of the most active platforms. And again, those 100 papers, all that line of code, the only argument against Cardano is the fact that it's doesn't have the dApps are already set on it. Like I said multiple times, everybody's already signed up for the dApps. Everything's already gone. Everything's gone to schedule. There's nothing to show. We don't have any tangible information to show historically through his work, the founder, the team. We don't have any reasonable reason to believe that there's any negligence on their end to fulfill the almost guaranteed promises. Like, guaranteed as in, like, they've already promised so much and they've already fulfilled on most of those promises. And there's only a very small amount left in stage 3 for programmable logic before the dApps get fulfilled. And when you look at something like Ethereum, who has staking, ETH 2.0 staking, you have to realize that this is a 0.01 stage. This Ethereum 2.0 staking is not realized yet, and I think that's a lot of just speaks to ignorance more than anything. Is that a lot of people think that ETH 2.0 is entirely released, and that's not true. A lot of the Ethereum miners are still that. They're still Ethereum miners, and they're not fully running nodes, decentralized nodes, and a lot of their model is still proof of work. So to say something like that Cardano is underdeveloped, you would have to put that same logic to Ethereum, who is also. And these are very obvious. These are very obvious comments to be making. And of course, Ethereum is ranked number 2 cryptocurrency. So do I think that long term Cardano is going to beat Ethereum as the second biggest market caps. Well, I don't like using I think. I don't like using my opinions. I'm just educated in the space, and all the facts seem to point to that being the case. And I put my money where my mouth is, and I got in at 10 cents. And to your point, I would agree that um, and you know, it was a white paper. I mean, when it was a white paper in 2018, when it was like 2 cents, you had an argument. But at this point, there's just too much development. There's just too much code. The papers have been written. The chain. You know, everything's been built. They've been building. They continue to build. The facts are there. They're written. They're literally written in code. You can't take that away. To your point, I think that the market is a little bit optimistic, and I don't think that people know truly how great Cardano is. And so I would agree that because of a lot of YouTubers now talking about it and whatnot, I think it is in the relative short term a little overvalued, even by my own metrics. But long term, obviously, like I've said multiple times on this channel, I believed in it heavily, put massive money in when it was 10 cents, and I continue to believe in it as a long-term cryptocurrency, and I don't expect on selling any of it. I won't sell any of it this cycle, and it's all staked, and that kind of shows my viewpoint on it. That being said, I still understand Ethereum, and I'm looking into the positions on Ethereum, and that's our main focus on the channel right now, because there is potentially the opportunity of this cycle, like one of the biggest opportunities of this cycle being that Ethereum could possibly, when we look at the ETH to Bitcoin comparative chart, we could have essentially a trade that makes a 10,000% return, something almost as big as when I called the bottom of the bear market in Bitcoin, or like when I called, you know, the bottom of Cardano, and really preaching that coin as not only a 10x potential, which it already 10x, and I said that there's another at least 5x in it. But the fact that it was a 10x on being one of the largest cryptocurrencies. So I said that from a risk to rewards standpoint, it was an absolute no-brainer, and if not the best cryptocurrency in the entire space, and that holding true. I think that, you know, the only point that I would make is that as a long-term hold, it's obviously good, but in the short term, yeah, we're looking at Ethereum as a possible flip. For this cycle, I still think Ethereum should do well. So yeah, XLM struggling a little bit right here. What we have is the Fibonacci retracement area right here, and you can clearly see by this level right here. If you look at the tracer, you can see that the Fibonacci, this top area right here, which is going to be the 0.718. Let me see if it's the fib or the trend based, just so we're 100% on this. Yeah, it's the retracement. So as you can see on the fib retracement, the price action is clearly below, and so that has to be relatively bearish in the short term. If not, you know, if you're bullish on it more long term, then essentially what you're looking at is an accumulation zone on the micro or on the macro charts. To me, this just shows that there's not an extreme amount of demand, but essentially you would have an accumulation zone from right here to right here, potentially, if you were bullish on the asset. Like I said, I hold a small amount of XLM, and it's my diversification into a different sector, which is, you know, the cross-border payments methods, which I've gone over multiple times. But essentially you would have like these areas right here as potential accumulation if you were bullish on it. Really what this breaking this major macro retracement level shows me is that there's not a massive amount of bullish momentum, because if there was, then it would essentially break off of this obviously massive key fundamental 0.618 level and then continue higher, which we're not seeing. So again, the way that I interpret these charts, just on the macro, which is going to be the most substantial, and most accurate is that, you know, you can cost base average this down if you really believe in the project. If not, it's not looking terribly bullish. Um, it's not necessarily, and I always say it. You know, most of the time there's going to be a better coin. Like, to just fanboy over one coin, unless it's like Cardano or probably just Cardano or Bitcoin. Or like right now, Ethereum's pretty undervalued, but unless it's like Cardano or Bitcoin or potentially Ethereum, there's always going to be a better coin. And right now, this looks like a downtrend to me. And what we showed right here on the longer term is I actually I don't like to say on this channel I told you guys, but I did. I can't really say it in any other way. I did tell you guys that we pulled up this trend line right here, and what I said is that we need to break above this level right here, and if we don't break above this level right here, we're going to continue down. And what ended up happening is we ended up hitting this level exactly. This is why we have this white line drawn right here. So we actually did end up hitting this line exactly as predicted, and then ended up coming down and finding it as resistance. And so we're in these Fibonacci areas that I drew, these cute little yellow lines, and we're basically testing these areas right now. So really what you're looking at is like consolidation. Really what you're looking at is you would go to XLM.D, and that's not looking too good for XLM. That's on the hourly. Yeah, that's not looking too hot. BTC.D. Well, really, you would just look at XLM.D for right now. Yeah, so that's pretty much the tech. We were looking at that area. Like I said, I had already charted it out, and it looks like we got rejected at that area. It's just cool coming back to the charts and being like, oh, this is this level, this is this level, and seeing it play out. But yeah, that's it. Any more questions? If you have any more questions on like cryptos that you want me to talk about or look into, let me know. But yeah, as far as Cardano's price being forced, there's a lot of bullish space. A lot of newer guys that just they don't really know about it, but they hear about it, and it's kind of they just FOMO into it. And manipulated people can pump and dump. I don't think that it's going to pump and dump Cardano. If Cardano does get dumped, you can't. Here's the thing about a pump and dump, because it's so prevalent in the space. And that's why, you know, we never cover these projects that are potentially scams and all this other stuff. And I think on average, I think I have like a little over 1,500% return rate with not a single pump and dump scam. But my point is this: Cardano is not a pump and dump. That's the thing, is it has intrinsic value. So if somebody was stupid enough to dump the price, I would just buy it up, because I know the intrinsic value is there. I know the code's there. I know the development's there. I know that the community is there. I know everything is there in Cardano, and it's one of the best cryptocurrencies in the space. So if somebody was to think it was a pump and dump, perfect. Dump the price as much as you can. The more it dumps, the more I'll buy, you know, and that's what the smartest people in the space are going to be thinking. And then as the currency continues on all metrics to perform as intended, you know, the evaluation would return, and that prevents it from being a pump and dump. A pump and dump is something that doesn't have, it's like Doge. Doge is a perfect example of a pump and dump. It doesn't have any intrinsic value, and people are hyping it up, pumping it up, but there's nothing there. So then as the price goes up, everybody's like, what the heck did we just buy? And then it comes crashing down. So not reflected in real value in the long term. So yeah, I mean, like I said before, long term is Cardano's best friend. And then hike in price only because people are trying to hype the stock. And then it's not a stock, it's a cryptocurrency. How much BTC can drop? Can he drop lower than 53? Are you trying to put a limit order at 50? Or are you trying to put your liquidation level at 53? There's not really a trade right now, in my opinion, but let me go look at, well, not in my opinion, but according to the TA, from what I remember. Let me take a look. So you do have this really nice support area right here that's been validated multiple times at 55 that has potential support. Really what we're looking for on Bitcoin right now is we're looking for that 4-hour candlestick close that we were talking about. It's looking relatively more bullish than we were looking at earlier with this nice wick right here, but it's still nothing to negate that still bearish engulfing candlestick that we were looking at. So that's Bitcoin on that chart. That's Bybit. We're going to go over to Coinbase. And yeah, you get that really nice wick right there. Unfortunately, this is just a doji candlestick, so really this just shows indecision, and we still are below this red line right here, so the price is still looking bearish. If we were to drop in Bitcoin, like I said earlier, what I was talking about is from technical analysis, again, like nothing is 100% guaranteed, and you know, I can't predict the future. I mean, I can tell you what's going on as it's happening, but I can't predict the future. I can't tell you the exact price of Bitcoin in 3 hours from now. I mean, I could get a good guess with Elliott wave, but 55,187 is a very likely area where we could find support. But really we want to see, and this really, to answer your question, and this really answers your question, is we want to see how the market interprets this bearish candlestick close if this does occur, which looks like it's going to be the case. So we already covered this a bunch. So if you ever come in and you're like, why is he not talking about the Bitcoin pump and dump, or like not pump and dump as in pumping and dumping Bitcoin, but like why is he not covering if Bitcoin's going to pump or not? It's because I already covered it. Like, and if I keep covering it, I'm just going to be repeating myself, which I'm doing right now, but I have no problem helping out. So so essentially right here, we're looking, it's still like what we were talking about earlier, we're looking at a bearish engulfing right now. Now there is a wick, so it's not entirely engulfing, but it is still is based off the fundamentals, a bearish engulfing. You're clearly showing that you have this pump right here, and then you're clearly showing a more significant selling pressure right here, which is bearish. So if we do get this close right here, I do expect the price to come down. And really, like we say all the time, the price is king. Like the price action is what you need to look at. And so once we do get this close, if we do get it below this level right here, and I can give you the exact level, if we close the 4-hour candlestick below 57,723, at that point we just want to see how the market reacts to that, because like I said, price action is king. And you know, if there's a massive dump potentially, and no wicks like this, then essentially we could break this level. But until we really get an interpretation on what's going on, you know, and then on the 4-hour, so it would come over like 1 on a close. So it would be right here is what we're looking at around 52,200, 50 or 55,220. I do believe, based off the technical analysis that's been pretty accurate, that we're going to hit those levels. And then another thing that you have to look at for historical context, and this is really what's important, and we're going to go over to another chart. So obviously this trend line has significance to it. The other thing that's really important to look at is if we're going to go over to Bybit, we go over to, we're going to take off market cipher right now, and then the EMA, you turn this on like this. Yeah, perfect. And then the 4 hour. Oh, the liquidity is terrible on here. The liquidity is absolutely awful. What else? Do we have a clean chart that we can look at? There we go. So what we noticed in this pump before it started pumping even more, and what we see right here is obviously some cut and dry, very gorgeous technical analysis. So let me go over this just 1 second. I need to draw this trend line because this is a really good support level right here. This is a really clean chart. I really like this. This is going to be really clean cut technical analysis. That's really what I'm trying to go for. Because I know I do a lot of stuff and it seems confusing. So I don't want to lose this, but so just ignore this, ignore this. What we're looking at right here, we'll take this off. What I want to bring your attention to is this line right here. Now, if we look from historical context of Bitcoin, you see a constant tap and then a bounce higher. And you'll see that tap, bounce higher. Breaks that, comes down, hits it as, it's just so gorgeous. Like, these charts are so clean, it's stupid. Okay, so anyways, what we could definitely see right here is the price come down to like 55,487 or 55,482. If that is the case and we do hit that area right there, then what we're going to be looking for is the price going to go below it? If the price goes here and then bounces, that's going to be very bullish, and that would be an opportunity right there to say that you know, just based off the charts backing themselves up, like the technical analysis, everything, saying that we have a really good indication that if we do bounce from this level, we're going to continue to go higher, and the likelihood of a further retracement is significantly lessened. Whereas if we do break this right here, which is the EMA 20, so this is the exponential weighted moving average. If we do break this EMA 20 right here, then the chance for us to continue wicking is significant. And we could be, how many times did we end up wicking below it? We wicked below it right here, we wicked below it right here, we wicked below it right here. Touch point, see that touch point right there, touch point right there. So if we do end up, I guess that it's trending upwards, but so we would look at this level right here as potential bearish, and then we'd look at this level right here. If it does break this level, then potentially we have that 55,200 and I believe 74 level, and then we just want to see, again, like the main thing is how this 4 hour candlestick is going to be closing. So we have it right here. It's actually looking not bad right now. It's not an entire bearish engulfing like it was earlier. That's why I said, like, we can't just jump to conclusions. We can't just say things. We have to look at the graphs, the technicals. We have to wait for our information to be printed. We can't jump to conclusions. So right now it would be relatively bearish, but we'll see how it closes. If it closes at this level that we've covered multiple times, bearish. If it closes below this, relatively bearish, could trickle down, like I said, taking the whole market into consideration. We have limit orders potentially filling up at these levels before potentially hitting, you know, something like this. So to answer your question, 53 doesn't look like it's in the cards unless we get this bearish candlestick close and we get some massive volatility, which you would measure through volume. That's not arbitrary. Yes, exactly. I feel like Bitcoin will probably go up again tomorrow. How do you get that super line? That safe line. Oh, I drew it. It's my technical analysis. So I can show you how I did it. Yeah. And it's a case by case basis, and it comes into the whole market into perspective. So this is really just a short-term perspective on this candlestick, doing some more essentially micro analysis to really view, to really like zoom in on this specific area, because this is a very important candlestick close to dictate the future. So what I did is I put up what's called the Fibonacci retracement tool, which you've been on the channel, so you probably are familiar with this. And essentially this tool is used for a lot of things, but one of the things it's used for is measurements. And what it does is it's really hard to figure out the halfway point between candlesticks. Like you don't want to really approximate it. In technical analysis, you want to get the exact level. And so this right here is the 0.5 level right here. If I zoom in, it's kind of hard to see, but let me make it black. But I took the 0.5 level right here on the Fibonacci retracement tool. So make it black so it should be easier to see. Yeah, this level right here, I took the top of this band right there. And I drew from, would be right here, so right there, yeah. So I drew from swing high of this relative point right here, this swing high, to this swing low, and then I drew the halfway point. So essentially, if the candlestick closes halfway above this point, essentially you have more of like a doji type idea when you get really advanced into candlestick patterns. And then essentially if you close below this 50% line, essentially you have, now you can't just go off of this one candlestick, you know what I mean? This is just signifying a blow off top and everything with like, we factored in, we went over everything. We went over total crypto market cap, and you know, there's not money flowing into the space. If there was money flowing into the space and Bitcoin dominance was going down and then this was happening, then I necessarily would not be zooming in right here and really going over this. But getting an entire overview of the market, we can use this as a tool to say, okay, this looks like, well, if this happened, then we're most likely heading lower, because this is a blow off top essentially, and there's no new money flowing in from what we've seen on total market cap. I can take another look at that in a second, because obviously it's very important. But what I did to get this, it's cute that you call it a safety line, but essentially that is what it is that unless you're talking about this line, these are trend lines that I drew from different touch points. I'll go over that another time, because that's going to take a little bit more to explain. But essentially when you go over advanced charting patterns, like for candlesticks, 50% on a candlestick with these circumstances would essentially be bearish. So I did swing high to swing low, measured this level right here. And this tool is used for a lot of different things. We use it for a lot of things, but that's just how you would use that tool in that circumstance. Let's see. So yeah, let's go over total for a second. And yeah, on fibs, there's two ways to do it. And I'll show you guys in a second. But let's see. That's not good. So this trend line right here, it's not on the 4 hour, it's on the 1 hour. Maybe it'll make more sense if I show you on the 1 hour. But this is not looking good. So you have a touch point right there. You have this really cute touch point right there. And then you have a touch point right there. So that's 3 touch points validating through technical analysis this trend line right here, this green one. And it looks like the price action did get rejected right here. This is what's called a morning star, shooting star formation. It is a little sloppy to critique it. What you want to see is you want to see this right here, and then you want to see the entire candlestick body come down before filling. It still does give that entire, you come up again, and then there's not enough momentum to push it up. So you end up coming back down, closing, and again, this is the total crypto market cap. So what this means is basically as this thing goes down, essentially that's terrible for cryptocurrency, and as it goes up, that's extremely good for cryptocurrency, and anybody can make money as long as new money's flowing in, and that's really what this shows. Now this is just short term, you know, obviously there's more money that's going to be flowing in, but this gives us an idea of what's going on in the markets in the relative term. So this is really a textbook Morningstar, but not a textbook Morningstar. So the price action does come in perfectly, does hit the blow off top. You don't see this full candle body, but you still get the idea of, even though this didn't hit the full candle body right here, it's essentially the same thing right here with this. When you get the full candlestick body, what that shows is that there's after this wick, there's still an increase in selling pressure, and that's exactly what you see right here. So it is textbook and it's not textbook at the same time. You're not going to see it in a textbook perfectly like this, but when you look at the fundamentals that we go over on the channel of why technical analysis works the way it does, this is a textbook Morningstar, which is a reversal pattern. And hopefully we found a bottom right here, potentially. I mean, it doesn't really matter for us. You know, we're just absolutely murking these markets, doing everything perfectly. So, like, we're never stressing, but I hope for all the other crypto guys out there that... So really what we're looking at, you know, we talked about the valid touch points on this. So we're looking, it looks like that we got rejected very clearly, and it looks like this is obviously a significant area because as soon as we break below it, we have this massive dump. Really what we're looking for is to find support, which it looks like we did find support on this hump and this hump right here, flipping resistance into support and then potentially moving higher. And really what we want to see to continue to be bullish in the short to medium term on these markets is we want to see this this trend line broken. I'll take a few more questions if you guys have any questions. If you have any questions on like tokens or anything like that, just let me know. And then I'm about to head out. And then I streamed like 6 hours yesterday and 3 videos, so I'll probably be on again today. I streamed quite a bit, so just sub to the channel. We've already gone over everything like multiple times. I'm just kind of like everything you need to know in cryptocurrency. We already covered it perfectly. I'm just going over it again, just kind of checking in on everything because I think there were some newer people to the stream. But at this point, I think we're good. So again, going over this idea, you know, we did have this wedge. It ended up breaking down. You have this wedge right here. And this is, you know, this is the secret to how, you know, we were easily able to kill every single Ethereum trade, and how everybody's freaking out in crypto about Ethereum and how we called the price action tanking against everybody. And so we did have a candlestick close outside of this, so this is looking, you know, bearish essentially, which we've been talking about, and this was essentially the wick area. We called all the price action on this yesterday, and really what I said today was that, well, we already did everything I said was going to happen today, but we're just going to continue to wick this area, continue to move lower. And then potentially, like, mind-blowing against everybody, we're potentially going to hit this area right here and then bounce higher, and that will be a legendary trade. And everybody's going to look at our, like, 10 or 100 subs and be like, how did they make 10,000% when all these big channels are getting liquidated, having no clue what they're doing, having no clue what they're doing wrong? And a lot of it can be attributed to this graph right here that we've been covering, which is obviously extremely bearish. But yeah, if we get in at this opportunity right here, I'm telling you, it's going to be legendary. We're not like the other channels. We're going to wait for a bounce. 10,000% returns for everybody. Everybody gets a Lamborghini. All right, so it'll be interesting to see if we do hit this trend line right here and then test it as resistance. Oh, let's take one more quick look at ETH, and then let me know. Like I said, like I'm about to leave, so let me know if you do have a question. I really could care less about what it is as long as it's like cryptocurrency. I mean, I did do real estate. I'm a really good real estate guy, and I have stock videos on my YouTube channel. I had multiple different social media accounts, and I had a big real estate one. Um, and I left real estate to get into crypto, and everybody thought I was crazy. All right. This, like I said before, this looks like a Head and Shoulders. This really looks like a Head and Shoulders. It is good the way that we're looking right now. Like obviously not on this 4 hour that we're gonna go over in 1 second. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we did hit this as resistance. Yeah, it is looking bearish. I was reading it wrong because this is the trend base, not the Fibonacci retracement. We hit this area perfectly, drew this line perfectly, and now we're coming back down. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. I mean, I would be staying out of trades right now. And did we finally break that as lower? Because earlier it wasn't lower. So yeah, it's still higher. But I mean, as soon as it breaks this area, that's just game over in the short term for ETH. And it looks like there was a double top on, you know, the smaller time frames that ended up playing out. I think we have it charted. We have a lot of charts on ETH that are really good. Let's see. ETH. That's just ridiculous. Only 100 subs and we just straight calling bottoms. Calling them. So we already looked at that one. We already looked at that one. I think it's Bybit. That's the really good one. Yeah. Right? Yeah. There we go. We drew a Head and Shoulders. I think it was on a different chart though. That's what I want to see is this Head and Shoulders. What do we got here? These have been stupid accurate. Don't play with the K. Don't play with the K. It's just stupid. It really is. We are so underrated. It's absurd. Literally the best channel on the internet and no one's watching. Alright. They don't even know what that is. These bigger channels don't even know what we playing with. We using straight cheat codes, calling all the bottoms, calling all the tops. I think it was, this is Bitchermax, this is VMAX. Where do we charted earlier, we charted that double top. I can just chart it right here. It's really not that big of a deal. So it looks like we have a Head and Shoulders possibly on Ethereum. And everybody's going to be freaking out, getting liquidated if they're not following this channel. And I mean, it happened yesterday. I told you guys it was going to happen yesterday, and it happened yesterday. Oh, I love that. So we have some fib areas to look at too. Okay. So let me just draw this idea out for you guys real quick. That's just, I think it's one thing to call the bottom, to call the dump, to call the top, but then on top of it, to say that BitBoy was going to get liquidated, and then he puts out a video saying he got liquidated, that was just the icing on the cake. So that would be what you would draw as a textbook Head and Shoulders. And you know, we have 100 subs on this channel. BitBoy has 500,000. Bitboy, put me on your channel. I'll teach you how to trade. Tell you what, Bitboy, I'll teach you how to trade. You don't have to use Market Cipher anymore. I'll teach you how to trade like a real boy. Oh yeah, we got the measured move right here. Let's take a look at this. We'll just keep two measurements as take profits, and then we're gonna zoom out a little bit. Oh, we're gonna go to the higher time frames because that's exactly the way we want to do this. So we're gonna go to the, yeah, right there, and then we're gonna get this line right here. I'm not gonna be shorting this personally, but I know the market will. All right, so yeah, I mean, nah, we're so bearish right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't want to be a heretic, but I mean, we called it. We called everything. And I get everybody so bullish on ETH and they just keep getting absolutely liquidated. But we got those secret charts. We got so many tricks up our sleeve that they just don't have. It's just ridiculous. People are planning out longs right now, and on this channel we're doing the exact opposite, and we're about to just murk the entire space. The entire space is about to just get wrecked. Again. We plot in for their downfall. Perfect. This is insane. And people are like, there's no way this Head and Shoulders plays out. And it's possible that it doesn't. It's possible that it doesn't. But we got to go off of what the charts are telling us. And so this is really a perfect way of, we have, you know, our neckline right here, and I can draw the neckline, and let's make it, I spend so much time on these charts. Like, I'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings and just trade for like 4 hours, literally like 4 hours. So when I'm on the charts so much, I just like to make it fun. Alright, so that's the neckline right there. And so it looks like we broke the neckline and we found temporary support. And if we break this neckline essentially and confirm it with volume, and then the 1 hour, 4 hour candlestick close, you guys know the drill. We're essentially looking at this level, this level, this level, and this level for take profits. Again, I'm not shorting it, but really, you know, you always want to put yourself in the mindset of, you know, the market. And so this is how you would do it if you were shorting it. And I know there are going to be people that are shorting it, so. And why am I saying this? Why am I acting like a complete heretic? People thought I was a heretic when I was talking about Cardano and stuff. All the Bitcoin maximalists just got wrecked. And I said, listen guys, I used to be a maxi, but I learned. Crypto is like the internet, and there's more than one use case for blockchain than just Bitcoin. So if we do hit this area right here and come down and backtrack it as resistance, but why am I saying that ETH is looking bearish and backing it up with that chart? And why am I using this chart to back up that ETH looks bearish? So we have this right here, which is a double top. It broke the neckline of this double top. It's been playing out the measured move. The measured move is all the way down here when you take into accountability this neckline right here, because you have this one top, you have this two top, you have the neckline. The measured move is going to be right here. You have this right here, which is a downtrend on the 4 hour, which is absolutely monumentally significant. We had the idea that potentially we could retrace and continue higher, so we pulled up the trend-based Fibonacci tool, and we saw right here clearly rejected. We saw right here clearly rejected. We see right here bouncing off of this clear level as an absolute claw for support, and it ended up breaking through support, ended up coming, validating this entire channel, breaking through this channel right here, closing a 4 hour, and it looks like it could possibly be hitting a bearish retest. The fact that anybody could ignore all this information, and they deserve to get liquidated. It was obvious. So, I mean, it sounds like I'm a heretic for saying that ETH is going to continue to go down, but we know it's going to go down. The charts are right in front of us, and the charts are screaming this. And really, it's just the arrogance of the longers for them to, continuously perpetuate these ideas when the charts are clearly against their favor. And it comes down to that, again, the thing that we always talk about, opinions versus the charts. And nobody cares about anybody's opinion. Let's look at the charts, let's look at the facts. And the facts are saying we're going down, and we've hit every single one of our target already. So the fact that we already hit all our targets yesterday on top of everything else makes this like legendary in and of itself. But the possibility for us to continue and hit this level right here before potentially finding support and hitting a 10,000% trade, it's definitely in the cards. And no, Carl the Moon's channel is not going to cover that. Who is Bitboy? Yeah, Bitcoin Boy is the biggest YouTuber for crypto in the space. If he would have followed our channel, he wouldn't have got liquidated yesterday. How so maybe to talk about that line, second line too. If have other questions, who's Bitboy? I found him. Yeah, so those are just trend lines. You validate them with multiple different touches. I go over them all the time. I draw them all the time. I'll be back on later. But yeah, it's just a trend line with you find 3 touches that all line up together. But I love to watch NM Crypto. I love NM Crypto. I love NM Crypto. He's cool. I like Carl the Moon too. I like BitBoy too. It's just they're not making the calls we're making, and we have like not even a fraction of what they have, not even a percentage of what they have. As far as subs go, we're just underrated. Not saying that I'm better than them. And of course you. Thank you, thank you. But I'm gonna head out. I gave you guys everything you need to know in cryptocurrency. I gave you every single breakdown of what you need to know. And we could cover altcoins and all that stuff, but with total being down, with Bitcoin dominance going up, it doesn't even make sense. So I literally told you everything today that you need to know. So if you want to continue to be updated, just turn on the notifications. More so, I mean, I only have 100 subs. I could care less, but I do like interacting with my subscribers and trying to help people out. So I would appreciate it, because I'm definitely going to help you out, but don't make it boring for me. So come over, ask questions. I'm probably one of the best in the space to ask questions. I've been here for a long time. I know what I'm talking about. I've called everything with 100% accuracy, so just come over here, ask questions, turn on notifications. I'm going to be back. And then if you're in a long position, if you're looking to buy, if you're looking for anything, just ask the questions. I have all the answers, and I'm literally trying to help out. And you can see that through all my videos. So just ask questions and I'll help you out. And turn on notifications. I'm probably going to stream at least